The Japanese GP is right around the corner, and it seems like the teams are in for a huge challenge. From the variable weather forecast to Ferrari's infamous rear wing upgrade, all the way to Mercedes' intra-team battle, the stories that will unfold are certain to bring tons of excitement ahead of us. But who will prevail at the end, and more importantly, will Ferrari's upgrade finally help them catch up with Mercedes? If there is one thing about the Japanese GP that we can say for certain, is that the weather will play a huge role throughout the entire weekend. Due to its nature, the Suzuka GP is offering different types of weather conditions throughout different sessions, making it extremely hard for the teams to adapt to the given situation. And now that the teams barely know anything about the car's behavior in general, the changing weather that we're expected to see from Friday to Sunday will make it even harder for them to put the car in the best operating window. Friday is expected to be cloudy with a temperature rising to an absolute maximum of 17 degrees Celsius, but during qualifying, there is a significant chance of rain. This means a lot because throughout the free practice sessions, the teams need to decide whether they'll try and chase more towards the one-lap performance or set up the car more towards the race itself. Speaking of which, on Sunday, the chances of rain are significantly dropping down, just 10%. But the cloudy nature of the day is still not giving enough information to the teams regarding the full expectations of this weekend. That's the first and one of the biggest challenges that the teams will meet during this weekend. But do not fool yourself. There are plenty more obstacles for the teams, including the car's performance. As we've already seen from the first two races, the behavior of the car fluctuates depending on a variety of factors, some of which are unknown to the teams. This is the biggest problem because McLaren, for example, wasn't able to start the race with both of its drivers in China due to electronics issues with their PU. And while the Woking-based squad claims that they found the core of the problem, the doubt that it can repeat itself persists. Piastri is yet to start a GP, and McLaren is already way too behind in the defense of the Constructors and Drivers' Championships. But with Japan presenting itself as a nice opportunity to bounce back, it would be interesting to see how they've tackled the challenge of understanding the car properly enough. Circuits like Suzuka with middle and high downforce requirements suited the McLaren's car a lot in the past. But that shouldn't really be the case this year since we're entering a new regulation cycle where everything is different from what we've been used to. Still, the eyes will be put on Ferrari and Mercedes. These two teams have set the benchmark for performance, and while Ferrari is yet to present itself as a real threat to Mercedes, the potential is there. The Maranello-based squad are introducing the infamous Macarena rear wing to Suzuka, and the expectations are quite high, with Vasseur highlighting that his team has already cut down the advantage to Mercedes from 8/10 in Melbourne to 4/10 in Shanghai. But there are no promises for Ferrari's performance in Maranello. The development timelines have been tightened up under the leadership of Loic Serra, and if they rush something a bit too fast in a desperate cry to catch up with Mercedes, it could easily backfire on them. As of now, Ferrari are laying their hopes in the rear wing, but also in the ADUO to attempt an engine recovery, which would be possible around the Hungarian GP before the summer break. In the meantime, the team is in a middle position where they believe the car has tons of potential, but it's still being hidden somewhere, something we've heard quite a lot when it comes to Ferrari in general. A team that should continue its dominance is Mercedes, but we are not expecting a smooth path to victory for Russell or Antonelli. Part of that reason is that Antonelli has shown his teeth when it matters the most. He might not be here to just compete for P2. He is here to win races. And when that happens, tensions rise high, friction is created, and there is a high risk that we could see a 2016-like Mercedes season. The only difference is that the rest of the squad, Ferrari in this instance, are way too close for comfort. If you ask the Silver Arrows, Kimi Antonelli is aware of the challenge that sits ahead of him in Japan. He needs to continue where he left off in Shanghai, becoming the youngest pole sitter of all time, and show Russell why Toto Wolff decided to sign him instead of an experienced driver. As of now, Kimi is showing great composure and recognizes the pressure and the challenge that come from being Russell's teammate. So when talking about a potential team fight in Japan, the Italian driver said, "I'm perfectly aware that there needs to be a good dynamic within the team, and obviously we're both super competitive, but there is a lot of respect and we respect each other. I'm definitely the type of person who doesn't want to make contact with Russell on the track and will try to avoid that situation happening. Still, that doesn't automatically guarantee a safe passage for Russell whenever he tries to move on Antonelli. The points difference between them in the Drivers' Championship is just 4, and when the stakes are this high, anything can happen." But on the other side of the garage, more precisely at Red Bull, the sun isn't shining as bright, and we aren't looking at the same Verstappen that we are used to from the past. Yes, he doesn't have the fastest car, and for the majority of 2024 and 2025, he didn't have it either. However, he managed to squeeze it and put it where it doesn't have any business being. That's now proving to be mission impossible for the Dutchman, as he was quite vocal about the new regulations and how difficult they are to understand as a professional driver. While he saw tons of support from other drivers in his criticism, such as Alonso, Ocon, and Norris, the FIA stands firm on its grounds, meaning that Japan is poised to be yet another challenge for Red Bull, who have suddenly found themselves in the midfield. Ahead of the 4th GP this season, the Austrian squad sit 5th in the Constructors' Championship, and for the majority of the previous race, they spent time fighting the Haas and Alpine cars, which wasn't projected in our cards prior to the beginning of the 2026 campaign. I don't think Red Bull fully understands how much these issues can translate to the future of Max Verstappen in F1, because the Dutchman is already trying himself out in other racing categories that he admitted he enjoys a bit too much right now, such as the GT3. So if Japan proves to be yet another disaster class in terms of performance, this is a topic we'll be hearing a lot in the following weeks. And what about Aston Martin and Honda, the biggest disappointment in 2026? A couple of years ago, Honda celebrated the first championship in the Drivers' Championship with Verstappen after a long period of waiting, and now it seems like they've got it all wrong with the Silverstone-based squad. The expectations for their home race are very low, and that itself gives you the perfect example as to what we should expect from Alonso and Stroll. If they manage to even finish the race, then they would be perfectly satisfied with the progress they've made. All of a sudden, a lot of pressure is being put on the Japanese manufacturer due to the massive gap compared to the top teams, and it would be a miserable look if the antiques from Melbourne and Shanghai repeated themselves here, something that I see as a quite realistic scenario. On top of that, they are in the center of attention with the latest developments surrounding Jonathan Wheatley, who departed Audi after a very promising start of the season after frequent arguments with Mattia Binotto. There are rumors around the paddock that he is poised to join Aston Martin as a team principal, despite the team denying this in a public statement. But with Honda growing tired of Newey's demands, Aston Martin will need a good weekend on Honda's home soil to ease some of the tension off and focus on good things. With all this in mind, which story do you think would be the most interesting one in Suzuka? And more importantly, which team do you think will benefit the most? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video that appears on your screen right now.